Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Rick Rule Rhetoric here on Twitter, that's a great name, on Twitter posted this: the Saudis are tired of the weaponization of the US dollar. A good Saudi friend and former client summed it up for me in the last week by saying, for 50 years, we felt secure being protected by the United States. And now some of us feel we need to be protected from the United States. I don't think that this sentiment is exclusive to Saudi Arabia either. Many countries around the world who have been basically relegated to, use the US dollar and the US dollar only are feeling now that because technology is growing and changing, that they can be independent and sever ties with the US dollar. Ultimately, what this is going to do is diminish US dollar dominance. Rick Rule Rhetoric here also posted this clip. When asked what will they be holding instead, listen to this.
My suspicion, again, from dealing in my years when I was employed with very, very, very large sovereign investors, is as much as they distrust us in the US, they distrust each other more. And their currency of preference left to their own devices would be the largest, deepest, most liquid market in the world, which is to say US dollars. But to the extent that we continue to force them, I think what will happen is that in bilateral trade in particular, they will look for other mediums of exchange to cover the net margin in their trade.
So liquidity, obviously the US dollar is a very liquid fiat currency, but that's old school thinking. We don't need a liquid fiat like the US dollar when we have a liquid cryptocurrency like XRP that was created specifically to facilitate these types of trades. So like this gentleman was saying here, any country can really trade in any denomination they want. And we're already seeing this, right? With countries like, Argentina and Brazil. I was talking about the other day, how they are now looking to create a new cryptocurrency that is backed by the Brazilian real and the Argentinian peso. So they're looking to create something that they can trade in. So those are the two largest economies in South America. There's also Russia and China, and Russia and Iran. Russia and Iran particularly looking to create something that is backed by gold. And I believe China as well has accepted that. So, we're already starting to see the ramifications of distributed ledger technology and how this is slowly changing the face of trade. Jeremy Hogan asked artificial intelligence to provide answers on the XRP ledger. This one coming from Michael Branch here on Twitter. And guess what happened, guys? Hogan shares AI-based answers on how the XRPL can interact with CBDCs. XRP community members wonder how crypto can work as a bridge currency. I mean, we already kind of know in essence how this works. But, when he asked artificial intelligence, here's what it came up with. Attorney Jeremy Hogan, who has built a reputation as an XRP supporter, today shared some chat artificial intelligence provided answers on how the XRP ledger can interact with central bank digital currencies. So with regards to CBDC specifically, the lawyer did this in response to a question from a user on Twitter on how XRP can serve as a bridge currency for CBDCs. Firstly, Hogan shared the AI-based answers, noted that CBDC should be based on the XRPL as IOUs represented by a token on the blockchain to take advantage of the network's scalability. Here's the Hogan thread down here. Okay, let me just open that up real quickly. The XRPL would interact with CBDCs in a few different ways. One possibility is that CBDCs could be issued on top of the XRPL as an IOU represented by a specific token. This would allow for the central bank digital currency to take advantage of the XRPL's fast, efficient settlement times. Continuing down here, another possibility is that the CBDC central banks could open a gateway on the XRPL that allows users to deposit and withdraw the CBDC. This would allow for the CBDC to be used in conjunction with XRP and other digital assets on the XRP ledger. It's also possible, this is from AI by the way, it's also possible that CBDCs will be pegged to XRP and interact with the XRP ledger as a stablecoin, which would allow for fast, cheap, and efficient cross-border transactions. Of course, I personally have no clue. I'm a stupid lawyer, but this is what Chat AI said. So all these answers not coming from the brain of Jeremy Hogan, but from Chat AI. It is really amazing what this thing can do, but an interesting experiment too. It's not wrong. Us having researched this though for years now, I'm sure we can add our little human nuances to it, when someone will think of a follow-up question. Nevertheless, a very good experimentation and quite a good answer here from the artificial intelligence simulation. Anyway, wanted to thank Jeremy Hogan and of course Michael Branch for posting that. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, David Schwartz and his patents. It seems like this guy has a never-ending supply of patents that, some of them have been filed, others have not. XRP Crypto Wolf posted this, okay? With regards to this, David Schwartz came out and said this on Twitter, an idea that he conceived back in 2011 I was going through some old files and found this provisional patent application that I filed way back in 2011. Never went further with it. Social networking front end for cloud storage. So here's the patent here, guys. Let me just open that. David Schwartz sharing this with us. Social networking front end for cloud storage to improve ease of use in backing up and sharing user information. A cloud storage system can present itself to the user in a familiar form. Chores that would otherwise be complex and technical are performed by presenting the user with the familiar interface of social networking games. This also permits a cloud storage system to take advantage of the same business model, pricing, order processing, advertising, viral marketing that social networking games employ. So an interesting concept here. He gives us a little flowchart on how this would work. Now, I bring up the patent because, this is David Schwartz, the same guy that came up with the patent for distributed ledger technology in 1988. All right, we've talked about this on the channel in the past. If you guys look over here, you can see an early sketch from the 80s, the late 80s, of what distributed ledger technology would look like. This has obviously got people thinking that David Schwartz is Satoshi Nakamoto, or at least one of the people behind Bitcoin, one of the people that we could identify as Satoshi Nakamoto. I did a video on this a few months ago where it has been noted that the government has confirmed that they have met the group that is Satoshi Nakamoto. And I'll put that video up here in the top right-hand corner if you didn't catch that video. David Schwartz was one of them. We were trying to guess who the other people were. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, guys, take a look at that video. An interesting history, though, with regards to cryptography. And again, this is from the late 80s. So none of this would become reality until about 20 years later, unless it was being worked on in the background and we just didn't know about it. Which brings me to this, guys. Mr. Poole has been on a tweeting rampage, courtesy of Fojack here, and I got to give credit to Fojack on Twitter for posting all the Poole stuff. Some of this stuff is really getting me wondering, okay? He posted OSI. Now, Poole has a knack for posting things backwards, the reverse, similar to what Bearable Guy does. Fojack here reposting OSI. Does that mean ISO and the ISO 20022 standard? Something that we are to expect in the coming months. This coming from King Valix here on Twitter. Game over. Can't say I didn't say this 2 years ago. Told them it is going to happen. New global ISO 20022 global payment system begins in March of 2020. Now, Swift has gone on the record saying that they are implementing this. Ensure you're fully prepared for March 2023. Sorry, did I say March 2020? I meant March 2023. Starting your journey now will ensure you're ready to go live on ISO 20022 for cross-border payments and reporting, CBPR+, and the start of the coexistence period from March of 2023. This is directly on Swift's website. Another post here from them that they apparently deleted. They just powered it, then deleted it. Are you ready for ISO 20022 for payments? The go-live date is March 2023. It's fast approaching. Don't wait. Here's Bryce Gomans to explain what you need to do, and then they posted a link, but apparently they deleted that. Okay, we've got the ISO 20022 implementation. Mr. Poole likely pointing us towards that. Now, it's a bit of a race, a payments race to the top. This was also just released last week, and so could this mean that now that we've seen China release the UDPN, this is coming out of Hong Kong, it was launched at Davos at the World Economic Forum meeting last week, could it mean that the fire is now under the butts of the West to catch up? So again, I had to bring this up again because this is a significant advancement in DLT technology. Just to reiterate, the UDPN is a DLT underpinned messaging backbone focused on providing interoperability between the fast-growing number of different regulated stablecoins and CBDCs and seamless connectivity between any business IT system and regulated digital currencies. We've also heard BRICS nations talking about, starting their own product, something similar to UDPN. We've talked about Russia and China working on it. And I don't know if this had to do with Russia as well, if this was the one that they were working on or not. However, this is the one that has been the big focus over the last week. It has been developed over 2 years. And so it's advanced digital currency payment project that has achieved several significant milestones to date, including the launch of the UDPN sandbox in July, in which multiple banks have been actively testing stablecoin transfer and swap FX transactions. A number of global tier 1 banks will participate in a series of use case POCs or proof of concepts this month, which will demonstrate how the UDPN will solve the current and future challenges of integrating digital currencies into daily business, banking, and payment scenarios. Well, we know the XRPL, RippleNet, that is an obvious and capable challenger to this new UDPN system. And so if we are to assume that the BRICS countries are ahead, does the West need to catch up? Another Poole update here from Fojack on Twitter. Now, these are some Russian characters here. And so some people here on Twitter decoding this, like DJ Hudie555. He put it through a Google Translate Russian to English, and it's got two meanings down here, no or started. Some other people were also looking into this, and you can use the same characters in Bulgarian as well. I believe that there's another translation in Bulgarian, started or 10. First, he did reverse the word, the beginning or the shadow. So Iltin has begun. It has started. We're coming back to this concept, though, of it has started or it's started. Let's go down here. Solachan or 10, says someone else. I don't know if they reversed it or not. Nil, 10 years old. So some of these translations seem a bit more confusing than others. Nor or begun, says the illuminated soul. No or started. So has it begun, guys? Maria Liv here on Twitter saying yes. Now it seems that something is happening. Germany has declared war on Russia. And in the speech, it was called "We Who She Thinks Are All of Europe." And the Russian nuke ship is off the US coast. We have been waiting for this to move forward. So it begins, says the great Humongous here on Twitter. Ready or not, in Bulgarian, right? This was the Bulgarian translation. In Bulgarian, it translates to suntan or tan. So don't know where we're at. I think, though, we are looking at the beginning. And my thought is that because now we have seen the release of UDPN, it has begun. The race is on. This is almost like a financial war to see who comes out supreme. We know the US dollar is already under attack. We need a replacement system, American technology, that can take on what is coming down the pipe. We've got Ripple and XRP. Of course, there are still challenges hindering that in the United States. The other thing here I wanted to bring up, Mr. Pool profile pic, okay? The other thing that was posted was a translation here that translated to, I believe it was smile. That also goes along with this original Mr. Pool tweet, or rather, sorry, his avatar that he changed his avatar to. I don't know where I originally saw that, but there was another one that stated that it did say smile. So that connects with the avatar. We also have Fojack posting this. Like I said, Mr. Pool has been on a tweeting rampage. This one from 8:45 p.m. last night. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Memorandum for distribution. And some of this information has been redacted. Information Systems Research Division, Processing and Analyzing Technology Group, Office of Research and Development. This is Recon Security Mechanism. Development project, conclusion of initial release. The initial phase of the Recon/Coins security mechanism development has resulted in the preparation of two reports. Security problems involved with connecting the agency's Recon system to Coins network were defined. What the heck is this Coins network? Discussed and examined. Redacted, were tasked to examine the Recon/Coins problem. Redacted is under contract to OS/ISSG, while the Anderson Co. is tasked by myself as COTR for this project. The findings of this effort were that while no security mechanism can be devised for a classified data/base network hookup, i.e. Recon/Coins, which completely eliminates the probability of spillage or unauthorized data dissemination, the method proposed by Redacted represents a reasonable approach to reducing this risk. So we're still not getting all the information here. What we are getting is this Recon/Coins term that keeps popping up. So this represents a reasonable approach to reducing the risk. The nature of such risk is defined in the attached reports. The certification for use of this approach for Recon/Coins is under review by the OS/ISGG. Now, guys, this initial report was done in what looks like the early 80s. You guys can see some attachments here from December 23rd, 1980, and then the Frey technical memo from January 27th, 1981, only a month later. Now, what does this 80s document have to do with anything, and what the heck is Recon/Coins? A coins network. Remember, back in the 80s, coins were just coins. When looking at the full document here, so I have a link here to the full document. You guys can read it if you are interested. Recon Security Mechanism Development Project, conclusion of initial phase. When I did more research, though, on this, I found this. Found Satoshi BTC equals Recon Security Mechanism Development Project 1981 to 1984, and it was declassified in 2003. Going back to the original link, Recon Security Mechanism Development Project, publication date 1981. The same starting point year and title of this. Now this, I can't see it, but it looks like it's the exact same document. Found Satoshi BTC. I'm wondering if there is a connection to Bitcoin and what is stated here as Recon Coins. the coins network from the early 80s. And this is why I had to bring up David Schwartz's concept for distributed ledger technology from 1988. Think about it, guys. Cryptocurrency could have been developing in the background. Now it's all coming to light. As per Mr. Poole's tweets here, are we getting closer to a new distributed ledger system that has to now combat what's coming out of the East, what's coming out of China, Russia, what they are developing? It's very likely now that it is a race to the top for financial supremacy. Ripple and XRP are waiting on the sidelines just to get the clarity in the United States, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.